Bam, and we're live. Hey, how's it going? Testing. It's Wednesday. Hopefully we're live. Hopefully I didn't mess up anything this time. And you see me, you can hear me. Sound is good. And who's me? And where are you here? My name is Viktor Gamov. I work as a principal developer advocate here with Konnect. And today is Wednesday. My dudes and dudettes, meaning that it's time for Konnect Builders. Konnect Builders, today is going to be a special episode. If you can hear me, if you can see me, write something in the chat. If you watch us on the YouTube, if you watch us on LinkedIn or Twitter, write something down in the chat so I will see everyone, where everybody is joining from, because today is going to be a special episode. Today episode all about geo-distributed systems, like globalization on the scale of clouds and the platforms and stuff like this. So that's why I have a special group of people who join me today. Welcome to Konnect Builders, Yann, Edouard. Great to have you here finally.
Yeah,
Hey, Vic.
it's super exciting to be here with you today. So I think it's our first YouTube live, no? With Koyeb. I'm Yann.
We did some Konnect Builders or the Konnect with you, and also you contributed to some of the Konnect Summit in the past. So it's great to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be back with you today. And I think we'll have a lot of fun building this global app. We made some testing before. We have some interesting also Terraform automation on our side that Edouard can show up on how to get this all working between our Koyeb global serverless platform and Konnect. So I'm super excited to see what we will be building today.
And I'm just checking that looks like we're broadcasting to LinkedIn, because I see the Carl. Carl, welcome back. He's one of the regulars who join us almost like every stream. Julien from YouTube also great. He says like he can see us, he can hear us, and it's time to send the Edouard's the info into the chat, so I can also bring this in so people know, and also what we're going to be doing today. Yann is also doing this on the background.
Yeah.
We're waiting. Yann, we're waiting for you. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I shared it normally.
Yes, you did. You did. And Edouard, Edouard, you said that it's a good time, or Edouard, good...
Good place. So
good place.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm Edouard Bonlieu, co-founder and CPO at Koyeb. So Bonlieu, English translation is good place. So super excited to be there with you.
So we were doing some streams with Koyeb for a while. We use as a platform, and I think it's it's a pretty cool platform because it will not allow me to think about infrastructure, even though I'm a huge like infrastructure buff. I love the Kubernetes and all this, YAML stuff. But yeah, having the platforms that just like simply point you um, to your GitHub repository or your Docker image, and after that, the application will be deployed and everything will just like run. And today we're gonna be looking into some interesting things or that you guys recently announced. Can you do just like a quick rundown about the feature? And why it is important, like who was asking this, and why you build it, like why you spend so much time to build this. And
Definitely. Yeah. So I think like when you started playing with the platform, actually it was even nearly 1 year ago, even more than
more
this.
like yeah, it's almost like a year and a half. I think it was even before we did the Conk Summit virtual. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
um
A- And we had way less features than today, but basically what we're aiming for is simplifying application deployment, and we're trying to make it so that as a developer you can deploy globally in like 5 minutes. And I think that's like what we are going to show up today. So basically, we will be able to deploy in 6 locations around the world in 5 minutes.
oh wow.
When you were first playing with the platform, I think we had 1 or 2 regions, and we last summer announced 4 new regions in preview, and we're going to expand to even more regions. So and actually all of this, what is really funny is that we are going to do kind of inception, because the network on the Koyeb platform is powered by Kuma. So we're using the open source project Kuma to basically route the traffic across regions, and to provide a transparent mesh to users. So we don't expose all the capabilities of Kuma. So it makes a lot of sense to deploy Kong on top of the platform to benefit from everything you can add up. But behind the scene, all the traffic is going through our Kuma mesh. So
Yeah. Edouard, if you have anything to add, don't hesitate to interrupt, because I tend to talk a lot, so don't worry about interrupting.
I think Yann's explanation was quite complete. One thing I'd like to mention also, and that's coming to the platform, is the databases. We have an offering for Postgres databases coming, so you will be able to run the compute and the DB.
So it's going to be like a part in the integrated part of the platform as well, right?
Yep.
Because like in the past, what we did, we used some external, and even in your documentation, you have some recommendations for the services to use, and I think we use like
Upstash,
something.
yeah.
Upstash, yes, Upstash. We use Redis from there, not the Postgres. Speaking about the uptime, I'm drinking again my an energy drink called Uptime. It's like I said, the energy drink for DevOps engineers, like Uptime. Hopefully everyone
that's great marketing.
Yeah, everyone has a Uptime. They're not sponsor of this video, but they could. So let's start building something. So I see people joining us from all over the world. So it's good that Carl is actually in Europe, so he will able to test and help us and see if our European deployment also will be working. And he has a zero latency, or like not zero, like some minimal latency. So let me bring down some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about today. So there's example that we here at Kong built in our DevRel team. It's called Konnect. It's the microservice deployment that includes deployment of services written in Go, in Node.js, and those services tend to explain some of the concepts that we doing here in Con, specifically the gateway in front of the application enabling security in form of a JWT token or JWT. Write down in the comments how you're pronouncing this. If you're pronouncing this actually JWT or you're pronouncing this as JWT, because I cannot, I cannot pronounce this as a JWT. I always say JWT. I don't know, like JSON token. And also this repository illustrates some of the concepts around I think what we called, let me put this on the full screen so you can see it. Come on. Can I do this? Yeah. It is called Konnect Air. It's imaginary airline, and also illustrates some of the concept around API ops. So that's the we're not going to touch many aspects of this. Maybe in the future when we kind of like build up the good story with the infrastructure as a code and API as a code and the API management as a code. And today we're gonna be deploying those applications, and to save some time, I already did. Deployed 1, 2, 3, 4 applications into Koyeb. So if we have a time, we were gonna also introduce GraphQL, or if we don't have a time today, maybe we will continue next time. Like if you're interested in GraphQL jazz, we also can do this. Today we're gonna focus on REST, and for the sake of this deployment today, it's gonna be just simple REST services that gonna be the available hopefully throughout the internet, so you will be able to also participate if you want to participate. All right. The funny thing is that the Carl just mentioned that he actually worked at he working at Finnair. And
that's massive, like
that's pretty
100
cool.
years old is like
Yes, yeah, that was pretty cool. It's 100 years old today, so this fantastic comment. Congratulations, and the gorillas flying on the Konnect Air today. Now, let me show you deployment and the things what we want to achieve. So hide the comment. Okay. Now, I'm going into my Koyeb dashboard, and I'm using my GitHub to sign in. Love it. So my deployment looks like this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 applications running. Disregard this one, is going to be our GraphQL, but I not properly configured yet. Probably it's not even working. And as Yann mentioned, that within these applications, when we run these applications inside the Koyeb, they are connected via internal network managed by Kuma. So if I go into my deployment configuration, say latest and greatest deployment, and where's my setting for deployment definition? There should be something says that so in this case my port only exposed via service mesh. So this service is not available to outside world. It is available also within the private domain that has this like a Koyeb top level domain, which is fine because I also have a Konnect gateway that deployed in front of this one, and this Konnect gateway right now is deployed in Koyeb, publicly available, and also managed by Konnect. For those of you who don't know, Konnect is our the managed control plane and the kind of system that allows you to build like not build, but just like use API management platform, just simply without doing anything yourself, for example, like you not need to deploy database in order to enable admin API. So we did a lot of things about Konnect. So for us, it allows us to configure application connectivity. Also allows us to see something works, something's not. So specifically, let me show you. So right now we do have a bunch of stuff, but some of these are disconnected because we did some experiments. But there's one node that runs right now. It runs Konk 3.0. It is deployed in Koyeb. That's what we're targeting. And if I want to see, for example, it is available via if I do HTTP air Konk builders.
Yeah, so we did some setup, and so we have like 4 custom domain, if I recall correctly. Or 4 or 5.
Yeah. So for now, like
domains.
let's imagine like this is thing that is going to be like entry point to our system that allows me to route the traffic. So one of the things that you can see here is that it is indeed runs on Koyeb, and it has this global load balancer region, which is Washington 1. Because there's no any global stuff going on here. So let me show you deployment definition. And if I go to my overview, so where is it? I always.
So you have the regions which are listed here, and
yeah. So yeah, that's the region where application is deployed right now.
Yeah, that's right. And if you go to your
you need
so
to
that's
go back
all the domains.
to apps, click the service name, which is Konnect Koyeb. On top, this is in the settings, you will be able to add more regions
so
to deploy.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that I want to point out that how this application is deployed, we're using Dockerfile, and each component of this application deployed in it is like this particular repo is a mono repo. And each component, each microservice will have its own repository here. So for example, for our flights data service, say information about the flights, it has its own Docker file. So we use ability of Koyeb to build this Docker file into container, and after that push it to whatever.
No, that's fun. Actually, you're using one single repo for all sub-services, right?
Yes, but I didn't go to. I went to wrong location. So for example, let's go to flights, and for my settings on my flights, I'm using. Why it is not? It should be overridden because
it's under.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So in this case, I'm using the working directory. And since it needs to be exposing something like HTTP traffic, I will be able to get those informations. So
and what's actually really fun. I mean, we can dive into it later. But if you can scale all your sub-services in different regions independently. And if for whatever reason one of the sub-services should be only running in Europe, we can just do this after and migrate your service to Europe.
Let's try to do this. Like since we're talking about this, let's deploy. So right now it's in Washington. Let's deploy flight services in Frankfurt, right?
You can select Frankfurt
what would be
on Paris.
Closer to? Yeah, what would be closer to Paris? Let's do one Frankfurt and one Paris, and
so
yeah.
You need to remove your Washington one. So if you want to just deploy in Europe.
So why I want to deploy? Because I'm in Washington. Like why I want to remove this?
I mean, you could stay, but let's imagine like this service needs to be running only in the EU. You could unselect Washington.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's keep it like this. Let's see how we can, the figure out and how we can play around and see what we can achieve. So,
just one side note, one fun side note, as we are all speaking about connectivity here. The reason why, do you know why we are deploying in Washington and in Frankfurt specifically?
Probably closer to I don't know, like a global, like I know that in Washington there's like a US East one. Amazon is deployed
Yeah,
somewhere
that's
there that
right.
far. Technically, it's in
Yeah, yeah.
Virginia somewhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But
Ashburn. So it's like the two places are the places where you have the largest peering points. So Washington and Frankfurt are the two largest peering points in so Washington for US and Frankfurt for Europe. So if you want to have the best latencies with most services, that's where you will get it. When you have to do machine-to-machine communications, basically with
yeah.
other APIs or stuff like this.
So does it do kind of like a sticky communication? Because what the let me click apply while it will be deploying. I wanna ask you a few questions, and you can tell me if it makes sense or not. So right now, let's put this in scale draw. We're talking about flights, and let's see if it has libraries of flags. Does it have a flag? I'm very visual person, so I love to do the flags. So we're gonna all the things to visual. Let's do this, and I'll just do. Oops, no, not the wrong one. Wrong button. Say. Will it be able to give me access to emojis? No, I need to use different screen to get emojis. Let's see if I will be able to copy emoji of the. Where is it? Okay, yeah, flag. US. Where is it? Anyway, too much time.
And actually,
So we're gonna do.
I'm monitoring the situation while you're deploying, and I think the time you figure out the emojis, where your service will be live in 3 locations. So that's pretty neat.
Washington. We're gonna do Frankfurt, and we're gonna do Paris. Why it is, looks like something is conflicting with my shortcuts for some reasons. Edit. Okay, smiley in emojis. Okay, we'll just do friends. Okay, perfect. Yep, and we're gonna do. It says, okay. And we do this USA. No, why? Okay, perfect. And we have a. That's exciting, like a live stream when Viktor is picking up the emojis for text. Hey, bear with me. Like, let me have my phone.
Is available in Frankfurt, Paris, and Washington.
Yeah, so you can put this in the marketing slogan. You can get deployed your apps faster than you can pick up the next emoji. Like pick up the emoji.
That's what I was thinking.
For your next
because. The truth is, like, deploying in 6 regions take between, I think, like, I don't know, 3 minutes or 5 minutes. If we look back at something like this, and Edouard is always complaining it's too slow, and I think it's
no, it is pretty cool. So like deployment is up, and we're up and running. So let's try to hit our service. The way how we can hit our service, let's take a look on the Konnect. So in this case, we do have a gateway services. We're interested in the flight service. So the once again, the traffic will go to our Konnect gateway. From the Konnect gateway, it will go to /flights, and after that, it will hit our flight service. And inside the flight service, we have a bunch of routes, and one of the routes that will give all information about all the flights. So if I will go and hit, say, HTTP air builders /flights. So I had the information about flights. So the API is accessible. But let's take a look on the headers. Let's see where's this response is coming from. So it says the Washington one, right? Before we start doing this thing, Edouard shared with me there's like secret header that allows us to kind of like bypass. Can we use it one? Will it work if I'm go through one service to another, or my gateway also needs to be deployed on the same regions?
I think the gateway needs to be deployed in the region.
Okay, so which brings me to another question. So, will it be like sticky if I will also say take this and the gateway also will be deployed in those regions? So will it go from, if I do gateway from Frankfurt, will it go to the service in Frankfurt?
Yeah, if you deploy in Frankfurt,
Yeah.
basically if you deploy like your main gateway in, let's put, a scenario it would make sense to me is like you scale your gateway in all 6 locations, and then maybe some services are going to be localized. So if you deploy your gateway in the 6 regions, basically you're even going to go through another regions which through our edge network first. So you're going to probably hit the edge network in New York, so which is going to terminate your TLS connection, and also handle caching. And then it's going to hit Washington. And if the service is only deployed in Frankfurt, for instance, it's going to go from New York to Washington to Frankfurt.
Is there any way to visualize it somehow? Like maybe, or I don't know, like usually trace route somehow or whatever. Is there any way to see how the traffic flows, or at least like monitor how this works? Maybe there's some tools available inside the platform that I can see how the traffic will flow.
You would need right now to use mostly the headers. That's like what it's going to give you the insight on what you are hitting.
So let's go and scale my my gateway. So I'm going into my Koyeb, my Konnect gateway, and if I go to deployment settings, so you're saying that I should just choose those things and run with it, right?
Take the six. Take the 6 locations. Yeah. So basically,
we're gonna be adventurous.
Yeah.
Global.
Remember, I even though I have some credits on the platform, there's still my credit card on file. So okay, so what's gonna happen? We will see how this data plane nodes also will change. So we will, because we're scaling these deployments, and now those deployments of the Konnect gateway will be deployed across the regions. So first, for now, we're gonna do like this simple thing with the using the power of the Koyeb, connecting to the US-based Konnect. But one of the things that I want to try, if we can have a dedicated control plane for Koyeb in Europe, and how this will work, because sometimes customers, they want to have a full segregation between like US services and like European services. We're gonna see if we will be able to achieve it. So stick around. Let me check the comments if there's someone is asking something cool. So we do have Julien from Prague, and also from Paris in France. How come? Like, how come you come into us with two different locations? I saw today how Yann was switching the themes, so we can use the dark theme if we need to put the comments on the screen, so we see the people. That's cool. Also, it also can be aligned with the system, so I'll keep the system then. Great. So far, I see.
And if you go to actually like to your Konnect setup, I think like even your subservice is tracked in Konnect, right?
Which one?
like the flight service, you scale to 3 regions.
Yes. So flight service right now is deployed in 2 regions.
3.
3, yes. Washington, Paris, and Frankfurt. And we have 60 regions deployed on the gateway. So in this case, if I will try to call it, it's still Washington, but what was the Koyeb overwrite? So we can put something like fra 1, right? Like this. So this is the special type of header that allows us to kind of like route our things. Let's see if it works. Okay, it says bad gateway. And
because you're still deploying like...
Okay, so it is still deploying. Viktor
you're still deploying the main service.
Running in front of the gun. Yep. Let's see deployments. Yeah, okay, it's still going into deployments. Okay, so we can wait. Now, while we wait, let me show you some of the things that I have configured on my Konnect side of things. So let's
I think like you're good.
Yep.
You have 5 gateways which are already healthy.
Yeah. So let's being a more or less experienced streamer, I know that where I need to take the pause just to show how the magic happens, because you cannot do things too fast because the latency on my side and latency on the viewer side also might be vary. So let's talk about the. So I have this gateway service, flight service, and the cool thing about the all this configuration, all these routes and all these things. So first of all, it was generated from OpenAPI spec. So the allows me to define my OpenAPI spec and turn it into the con configuration. That's the very cool thing. So another thing is that I also have a every service that I have deployed, every service that I have flights, routes, each of those services has a health check. So like when we deploy the Kubernetes, it's good to have a health endpoint. Maybe even we can use the health endpoint in the Koyeb. We can maybe reconfigure this and show how this can be changed. And when it is fronted by Con Gateway, all these routes, they might be, clash of the routes. There's a health from the customer. There's a health from flights. There's a health from booking and things like that. So one of the things what I do here in, let's see, I have a flights and I do have routes. So flights, the flights health for flights, flights. The new thing, I can just do flights. No, why? Why it's not?
It's by exact name or ID.
That's not fun. Like we need to have a fuzzy search. I want to have a fuzzy search because that would be much more useful for people. Anyway, so that's health thing. And one of the configurations that I have here is that it also responds on the health. So should be if I would just call, say, builder/health, it should throw me an error. It's still not getting into it's not getting to gateway. So like too soon, even though deployment happened.
I think your gateway is live.
But I'm getting like bad gateway from the Cloudflare. Yeah, see, it gives me error from. Let's see if I can access it. If those services data plane nodes are appeared here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3,
Which
4,
endpoint are you
5,
hitting?
6. So I'm hitting the URL of Congayer gateway.
air.conga.builders.
Yeah.
Because so basically, if I go to the root, I have like no root match with those values.
Exactly
Yeah.
the same
Yep.
on my
Okay.
end.
So looks like it's difference between. Oh, um, as always, kind of like it will take some time to propagate. Okay. So I'm going to health, and right now it is. I don't know where it is come from. Actually, it goes from the flights. But if I want to have a health for the routes, let's see if I will be able to do this. So do my route service. Let's see if it's exposed. Okay, routes exposed.
Good.
I want to let me finish with the health thingy, and after that we're gonna go with the say works and okay. So it's not configured. So in this case, I'm gonna go and say edit host, and what I have here configured. Let me see. It's called routes conc builders. Okay, I save it. Configuration. And the cool thing is that since we have like 4 nodes right now connected to my control plane, this configuration will be distributed across all 4 nodes. So the Koyeb is responsible for deploying and keeping my conc instances live, and the Konnect responsible for keeping configuration live. So if I go, let's do the health one more time. And now it goes into where? So I don't know where it's actually going. But if I will using the host header,
Washington on the
no,
previous one.
I'm just checking the health first of all. So
Okay.
it goes now. The response coming from routes, and if I just do flights, response coming from flights. So like this is I'm just demonstrating how the conc can, the routes can be configured differently based on the header. We can hit the same URL, and after that will be routed to the different different service. That's cool thing. Now let's try the thing with Koyeb header. And we're gonna do, you said Frankfurt 1, right? Ta-da. Okay.
And here it is.
So why it still says like GLB, the Washington one?
So
Yeah,
your
because
requests are
basically-
flowing through the Washington GLB to hit the Frankfurt core location.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. And in this case, let's see what we also have. I know that we deploy this into, say, let's go through Tokyo. Oh, okay, wait. So, Conc has this proxy, the upstream latency. So it's
Whoa, that's
probably the way how the Conc is hitting to upstream service, right? So can we assume that if our load balancer, like our deployment, our Conc gateway deployed to the same region as the application, latency should go down. You see what I mean? So, for example, if my request goes through Frankfurt, will it go to Frankfurt on the flights?
I mean, you can try a basic stuff like to see how it.
Let's test it out. So, for example, if I go, let's start with Washington, West 1. So
Whoa.
in this case, you see the upstream latency is 3 milliseconds. So meaning that it's actually hitting the right thingy, right? I would assume. Go away. Like I have I updated my operating system since now it gives me.
Whoa.
See? What? So special effects.
That's
Can we
crazy.
have a shout out in the in the comments? Okay, so we're also struggling. We're hitting the right spots. We're pushing right buttons. So the Julien saying he's from Prague, but he tried to get response from Frankfurt, from the server in Paris. So get response from Paris. Okay, so now let's try to do. If I will do Frankfurt.
And by the way, if I test it, I get like Paris one. On the
So
the
now it
route.
says upstream latency almost 200 milliseconds, meaning that it's still not hitting right spot, right? Or it is.
Yeah, no, it makes sense because like it's so your proxy is a global gateway, right? So the proxy is the one in Washington.
One of the things that I think
and
the way how I can validate if the response coming from the place where I'm expecting is probably to is there any way how I can inject some sort of kind of environment variable that will tell me in which environment I'm running my app?
Edouard has an answer for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you see what I'm saying, right? So you
Yeah.
say I have a deployment. Let's get back to flight routes. And right now I have two instances of my application that running. Why it says 3? Because it's actually 3. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you expand instances, you'll see the detail actually.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking to actually, let's see if the I'm seeing if there's something in the logs that I can have. It has a remote IP, so it tells me where the request coming in.
But basically, what you saw when you forced the backend, makes.
Just a
quick
question regarding. So you are eating the flight service, right?
Yes.
And the service we deployed into region is flight routes.
Ah.
So can we try on fly routes?
I'm dumb. I'm sorry. Yes. It's always good to have smart people.
I was just checking and wondering if.
It's always good to have smart people on the. So that's why I have a Danny. So that's why the Yann has Edouard. So we have we're pretty face, and we have smart people next to us. Okay. Now we're talking. Now we see the C is actually works, right? See upstream latency.
Yeah, it looks like.
Okay. So now it's confirmed. I would say it's confirmed because you cannot have the across the ocean latency like this, right? How you call it? Paris? Pair one?
Pair one.
Yeah.
Still good, right? So still good the latency. So so for those of you who don't know the way how the Konnect operates, again, Konnect sits. So what we were testing right now, if you first time joining us, you don't have any idea about the Konnect. So Konnect, now we deploy these 3 instances of the Konnect gateway on each region. And every time when you're hitting some endpoint through Konnect also reports some of the additional information. It reports how much Konnect spent, how much time Konnect spends on doing something with request. It could be applying certain plugins and doing something with transformation of request and response. And also there's a parameter called upstream latency. It's actually how much time it took to Konnect to reach this particular upstream service. So the service that would be behind. And what we just tried and what we confirmed actually is that when we deployed when we're hitting request and we're forcing to traffic to go through the specific region, the folks just confirmed that it's actually going through the same the network. So our gateway was deployed in Frankfurt, and our service. Let me fix this because it's gonna be. Where's my? Okay, yeah. So because I'm talking about routes. And let's try to do so. If we're gonna go routes and we're gonna deploy flights in Asia region somewhere, and we can try to go through that route as well. So, for example, Singapore and Tokyo. We're gonna keep the Europe part here. So if I'll just do apply. Also, folks, if you have if you want to share something yourself, let me know. I'll switch to your screen if you want. Yeah, 100% fire. Yes, I agree. This stream is on fire. We are also on fire. Okay. So let's wait. And so first of all, what would be furthest then? So if I would like to go and hit Singapore, is it correct name?
Singapore is scene 1.
Scene 1, yeah. So in this case, you see, the first time our routes is not deployed in let's do flights. Where's the flights? Flights, and we're going to scene 1. So almost a second latency bit. It's still not bad, right? So even though it's a simple response, like the speed is pretty good actually. So
yeah,
now we're waiting.
That normally, like if you're I mean, I think like one of the setup we're doing right now is kind of like one of the exploiting really the platform.
Yeah.
And knowing, what I wanted to say is like the if you deploy, actually, like there is some your service will continue being served by the previous deployments. Right now, like it's deploying, but actually your service is still live on the previous deployment.
I understand this. I just did this. Yeah. I just did it to show that if right now the service is not deployed in my area, but my globe, but like imagine our users there and they need to go through this route and go to American service. Like on the fly, we were able to spin up another region and send our users to that region. That's what we're gonna be doing. While this will waiting, I still want to have I want to see Edouard show the teased a little bit about the Terraform deployment, and I want to express one. I want to express one. I want to express one question, if it's possible to do. For example, right now everything is in a kind of like a click ops, which works fine with me. You know, I'm a visual person, like to click around. But there would be some operations people saying, "Hey, can I dump this deployment into something that I can replicate in future?" For example, first of all, is it possible? If it's not, how you would recommend to go about this?
So,
do you want me to share to switch to your screen if you wanna?
Current. I mean, you mean replicating the current environment you create.
My idea. So what we're gonna be doing this, we take deployment of Quant Gateway, we keep this deployment in US, and after that we have a separate deployment in Europe, and we also separate those deployments in configuration in Konnect. For this, we need to take the same kind of like a configuration, but only change few things. We need to change the API key. We need to change the TLS certificates and the location of the server. Would it be possible?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm switching to your
screen. It's not entirely finished on my side.
No, it's okay.
Before the live, I was looking your environment configuration, and really quickly create.
So I think it
Terraform.
is your screen right now. At least just give me idea. It's fine. It's Con Builders. We always have half-baked stuff here. Everything breaks.
It's my screen exactly, and I will switch into my orgs briefly just to show you what's happening. I don't know if you
a little bit bigger. If you
screen,
can, if you can make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Okay.
I know that some of our viewers, they watch this in their lunch break on their phones, so it would be good to have a.
Is it good like this?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yes, that's perfect.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we provide a Terraform provider, and basically what I tried to do but didn't finish is just take the environment you create and Terraform all the resources. So basically here we have everything you have, like the app and the service with the configuration. Same for the gateway, which I will not deploy here, and all the services, flight booking and so on with the configuration, if that's clear. And basically what will happen here is that we will deploy a lot of services on the platform. So here is the plan, and if I apply, we created 8 resources, and on my control panel, so I have everything which is provision, which is more or less ISO what you have.
Yeah.
And now let's say we want to put all the services in Conga in all regions.
You just deployed like the 5 service like one shot.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
So let's say we want to add more regions to which one? Which one is this? Customer, for instance. Let's add it in Singapore. Let's add flight in SFO. So basically I can easily look at the plan, and what will happen is that a new deployment will be created for these 2 services. So if I go back, we see that customer and flight are now will be deployed in Frankfurt, San Francisco, in Washington, and so on. So basically provide a way to interact with Koyeb resources.
This is fun. This is pretty cool. So for simplicity, let's can I take the existing one, or I need to code this manually? Kind of like I need to know the Terraform provider, what it does. Can I say I'm in my Konnect WTF? Can I just say like dump my configuration somehow in a form of like export this through?
Export is not yet supported by the provider, but that's something that we need to add, because currently it's only to interact with.
But at least I think
resources.
so. Table this. We gonna do that. We probably will not have a time until like to finish like overall things. So we're gonna hack around with this Terraform provider. I'm excited about this because what I wanted to do, I think I finally got the idea that we have for the next time. So what I wanna do is to deploy my gateway into 2 separate regions. So I will have one gateway.
Yeah. And actually, I remember like before we were discussing about injecting environment variables per region.
Yep. Yes.
You can do that with the Terraform provider. So that's one like cool thing. If you want to say, for instance, one of my region needs this environment variable specifically, or actually even this type of machine specifically, you can do this through the provider. It's actually not exposed in the UI, but technically it's supported. And we're also going to inject, like in the coming weeks, automatically the regions where you're running in your environment variables, so that you can basically rely on this to automate your configuration and your discovery.
Yes. So one of the things that I want to do, let me show you quickly. And this is where we can use the... Do we have a flag? Yes, we have a flag of you. Yeah, perfect. We're going to have this guy say...
You need to switch back
You're
to your
still
screen.
on my screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, that's the good point. So I start drawing. So what the things that we're gonna... I'm gonna outline things that we're gonna do with the next time, because we're running out of time for this stream. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have this thing that would be deployed on the Koyeb, but it's gonna be deployed in whatever all the European regions that you have. You have a Frankfurt and Paris right now, right? Now we will have
in Europe, yeah.
We will have all US regions. So in this case, we're gonna do Washington and SFO. We will not be able to test the Asia because the Konnect doesn't have yet dedicated regions on Asia, unfortunately. But it's a matter of time. So in this case, we will have a Konnect that will have a segregated. This one. This is gonna be Konnect US, and we will have. Come on. I need to check why it is bringing my one password, because it looks like it's some conflicting shortcuts that I have. Oops. Why it is not? Why are you doing this to me? Yes, emojis. Something broken. Anyway, so this Konnect will be, and I also need to bring my so in this case, Konnect will be have all API control over here. Let's make it dotted line like this, because it's kind of like a control plane. And this data plane, we're gonna deploy this in US. And we're gonna use, it's still Quonk. So with this approach, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna migrate everything from US environment and move it to European environment using DAC. And next time, I think we also I will introduce things with the like user management. We will do some GWT tokens, so we can see that some of the configurations. If the users will come from US to European load balancer, they will not be able to access the services because they will not have a token. So that's kind of like I'm outlining the thing that I want to do next time. If you're down for this or up for this,
yeah.
I don't know how you can say.
I mean, that's like exciting. The speed at which we're adding regions and setting up stuff is quite
yeah.
fun
So
to see.
I think that's what I want to do, because it's going to be a really fun exercise. So in this case, probably I need to pick up different color, because this is right now the traffic that I use for. Let's do this like orange one. No, it's secure traffic. Jesus, it's difficult to pick up the colors. Yeah, let's do this one. So in this case, we're gonna do. This is the Konnect YAML. that we're gonna dump from US environment. We're gonna propagate this into European environment. So in this case, we'll have a like similar environments. They would be physically separated. So we're gonna use ability to deploy Konnect Gateway to European region, and we will deploy Konnect Gateway into US region. And think about, and the difference between these two, there would be different for this gateway. There would be different keys to connect, so it would be different environment, and the different URL because it will be connecting to European Konnect Connect. And after that, so those things, so will be routed. So this is where we will be relying on the Koyeb, right? So this will be routed because applications will be deployed on US and in Frankfurt regions. So they will be, going across them because applications are stateless. In our case, in our particular case, our applications are just APIs. Do you follow, or I'm too complicating things?
No, I mean,
so here's scenario. So I think one of the biggest scenario with the geo-distributed systems is the regulations. What kind of data you can store in which place. So since our services are not the actual implementation, flights, routes, and bookings for this particular case, let's imagine they are stateless, or somehow we have a geo-distributed segregation. Maybe whenever you have a Postgres in the future, we can also kind of like have a European Postgres versus kind of like American Postgres. So they will be physically separated, so there will be no communication. And we're gonna separate this on the control plane side of things. So we're gonna have a configuration. We have a different users registered in the system. So the JOT token that will go to US and would be different JOT token or JWT token that will go to to Europe. And after that, we already tested that you guys doing some cool and intelligent work. So the traffic from one service within the mesh, within the service mesh, they will go to same service. For example, if I want to deploy, if I want to go to customer routes that deployed in Europe, it will go through the gateway and it will go directly to application that deployed in Europe. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Or Edouard, Yann, what do you think?
Yeah, looks super cool. And super
so the next time, stick around for the part 2 because I'm excited. So we laid out the foundation. The geographically distributed stuff is very thing that many organizations need, but it's very difficult to demonstrate those things. And thanks to the platform that we use today, thanks to the Koyeb, that we will show this is actually not that difficult to demonstrate. So one of the things that we're gonna do, like as my homework, I also need to somehow expose the information about the environment, so we also know that the service response actually coming from the region that we're expecting. So not only we do assumption based on latency, but also we can say that yes, it's actually going from this location because the response came from the instance that includes this information that was injecting during deployment time. So
we could even add a managed Postgres serverless database in the mix if we wanted, if any of the backend services would be relying on a Postgres.
So right now they rely on. So right now those services are pretty much like a stateless, and they have like a prepackaged. But I will look to this one. So let's stick with the stateless configuration, and maybe part 3 would be kind of like a real application with two databases segregated across this. I'm excited. That looks pretty cool. Let's see if you missed the live. For those of you who missed the live, and if you're watching this in the recording, as you should, we did a lot of cool stuff today. So we have applications like very easily deployed. I didn't even like sweat. Probably Edouard did something in the background trying to make sure that everything is working. I'm just kidding. But like we easily deployed all these things across different regions. So today we basically fully covered this part. Fully covered like one gateway deployed across multiple global locations. So next time we put a little bit API governance into the mix to deal with these all this stuff. I'm excited. That was pretty cool. Yann, Edouard, it was fantastic to work with you and seeing you on the Kong Builders. Hopefully next time we will bring Danny into the mix, and she also brings some of the beautiful brain of her own, and tell us like we're doing something stupid and not useful. Because she has real life experience. She's working with the customers and partners. I am just like fooling around and geeking out with the technology, folks. For those of you who missed the beginning, let me bring this because like it's a stream. Let me bring the things that we had today. Yann Léger, co-founder and CEO of Koyeb. You probably seen him speaking at the Kong Summit and the Kongcast in the past, and now you also familiar with the gentleman behind the scenes, Edouard Bonlieu. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing this correctly. Co-founder and chief product officer at Koyeb. It's great hanging out with you folks, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Vic. It was awesome.
Yeah, sorry, I switched too quickly. Yes, if you have any last words.
No, I mean, I think we really saw the power of both technology together.
You know what?
So that's like
next
fantastic.
time, make sure you bring some codes so we can share if people can sign in to Koyeb and play around with the platform. So and I also will share some codes for Konnect, so people also can play around with this.
Yeah, we have actually a code that we can share. We can add it to the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for being the part of Kong Builders. With this, as always, my name is Viktor Gamov. Do not forget, if you are not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Enable notifications. You will be notified when the next stream will go live, and we will start building new videos every week. And with this, as always, have a nice day.